Hi besties and welcome back to my trash channel. Sorry for the wait on this part. I've been busy with exams but now they're all over so uploading should return to normal. I'm not sure what else to say so just enjoy the video. What time is it? Sakuatsu hummed as he shuffled in his seat, though he kept himself in a position that the blonde could still rest on him. You weren't asleep too long. I'd say around 2 hours. Really? It felt like longer than that. You were asleep. You had no perception of time. What are you on about? Shut up Omi. I know what I'm on about. Sakuatsu sighed as he stood up, stretching the cramp that had formed in his back out. Well, now that your tired ass is awake, I'm gonna go get groceries. What? Can I come with ya? No, I don't want a repeat of last time. I won't mess around Omi, I swear. Don't leave me here all alone. Atsumu forced a pout and his eyes pleaded, though all he received was a scoff in reply as Sakuatsu began to walk out of the room. What? Omi? So mean and fair what? Get your essay done. Or at least start on it. I can do that later. No. The longer you wait the less likely you are to actually do it. Get your lazy ass up and go get your laptop. The blonde whined as he dramatically threw his body back so that he was laid down on the couch. He stared at Sakuatsu as he tilted his head almost backwards, the same pout still at his lips. Omi no, I'm leaving. No. Though Sakuatsu didn't say another word, ignoring every one of Atsumu's annoying pleas as he walked out of the room and towards their front door. He was already fully dressed, a black hoodie on his top half and a pair of shorts on his lower half. Not exactly his best clothes, but he couldn't be bothered to change. Plus they were comfortable. Sakuatsu hummed to himself as he slid his shoes on whilst trying his best to ignore the fast-paced footsteps coming his way. A clear whine coming from behind him once the footsteps stopped. Why are you so persistent on coming with me? I'm only going to get groceries. You're gonna leave me all alone. Yeah, it's a good thing. I get groceries. You get to do your essay without being distracted. You don't distract me. Everything distracts you. But anyways, I'll be leaving now. What? No. He spoke as he slid on his shoes, using his fingers to help get them on right. He glared at Atsumu as he stood up and quickly grasped the door handle and pushed it downwards. Fine. Whatever. I never liked you anyways. I bet. Bye Atsu. Atsumu huffed as he turned around, walking towards the direction of the living room with an unimpressed expression on his face, a middle finger hovering proudly above his head as he moved. Fuck yeah. He only received a scoff and an eye roll in reply as Sakuatsu walked out of the dorm whilst humming to himself. Atsumu was way too dramatic at times. Sakuatsu clicked his tongue repeatedly as he pushed his cart along the aisle, grabbing what he usually would. He had his headphones in which he hummed along to, occasionally tapping his foot. He wasn't exactly sure what to get. He knew Atsumu would complain if he didn't get something he wanted, but Sakuatsu wasn't exactly a mind reader either. He didn't know exactly what the blonde wanted, though he remembered Atsumu bugging him about a box of sushi when they came last, so he decided to just get a couple of them and hope it would be up to the blonde's standards. He picked up a few other things as he roamed around, thinking Atsumu would probably like this as he placed the items into the cart. He hummed as he stopped at an aisle, taking something from the shelf, though his music must not have been loud enough. His eyes going wide as he recognized a familiar voice coming from behind him. He quickly turned around to meet the voice halfway. Sakuatsu? Sakuatsu groaned subtly. This was the last thing he wanted to deal with. He just needed some peace while he got his groceries. Though he reluctantly replied, removing one of his earbuds so that he could hear him better. Hey, I didn't expect to see you here. Sakuatsu sighed as he spoke. Well, this is our local grocery store. It isn't that unexpected. Shoyo laughed nervously as he rubbed the back of his head. Sakuatsu scoffed to himself. They were in a grocery store. Why did Shoyo feel the need to talk to him? He wished he would have just ignored him instead. Yeah, you're right. There was silence for a moment until Shoyo broke it as he shook his head, his teeth biting at his bottom lip. So how have you been? Sakuatsu just wanted him to go away. What was so important that Hinata had to bother him for? He had met up with Atsumu earlier and he assumed he must have said at least something about him. What more did Shoyo need? Good. That's good. Anyways. Sakuatsu's eyes squinted. Something about Hinata was really pissing him off in that moment. He felt like he wanted to punch him in the face. He had broken Atsumu's heart, and seeing how sad the blonde was about it in the past just boosted his anger towards Shoyo. Plus he had interrupted his shopping. You wanna go get coffee? Or something? I'm busy, Sakuatsu replied quickly. He was getting his groceries. Why would he have any intentions whatsoever in getting coffee with Shoyo? Really? I was kinda hoping I could ask you a few things. Didn't you go out with Achu earlier? Why do you want me to too? I'm sure he filled you in on whatever's been going on. Yes, but it's just, I really wanna ask you something. Ever since earlier it's been eating away at my mind. Sakuatsu groaned. Why couldn't Hinata clearly see that he really did not want to talk with him? Whatever he had on his mind would have to wait. His groceries came first. Please, I won't keep you long, I promise. Sakuatsu sighed. Was he really going to give in to Hinata's pleas? The answer was yes. He groaned as he took a large gulp from his coffee cup before he half aggressively slammed it to the table. He could tell Hinata wasn't going to give in on pestering him until he got what he wanted, so he just decided to cut him short before he got a headache. He stared aggressively in Shoyo's way, almost like he was glaring. He had still not spoken nor asked him his questions. To think Sakuatsu had to give up on his shopping for this shit. He didn't get to buy a single thing. So, yes, you said you had something to ask? So, I wanted to ask. I hope I don't seem, I don't know, suggestive. Just say it. Sakuatsu knew he was being rude, but who randomly goes up to people in S grocery store and asks them to go for coffee? That's just weird. I just wanna say, this has no connection whatsoever with how I broke up with Tsumu. I just got suspicious after our breakup, and I just want to ask. Ask then. Hinata cleared his throat before he took a lung-filling breath. He then exhaled slowly. Was Tsumu cheating on me? Sakuatsu stayed silent for a moment while he tried to make sense of what Shoyo actually meant. Cheat? Atsumu would have never cheated on Hinata. Not in his wildest dreams. He loved him way too much for that. What? It's just that you and Tsumu were always close. I'm sorry. I know I'm probably overthinking, but I just needed to ask and get it off my chest. Not long after I broke up with him, you guys started dating. I'm not saying that there's a problem with that. There isn't. At all. I broke up with him and it's not really my business who he dates after all. It's just, for me it was really close after the breakup, and I was kinda just wondering if you guys were a thing. You know, before we broke up. Sakuatsu stayed silent for a moment. He understood why Hinata may be suspicious. They did get together really soon after their breakup, but Shoyo was completely overthinking. So Sakuatsu decided to correct him quickly, mostly because he wanted to go home as soon as possible, but also because he didn't want Shoyo thinking so lowly of Atsumu. He would never cheat. I'm just wondering why you didn't bring this up with Atsumu. I didn't know how to say it. Sakuatsu sighed, his fingers tapping mindlessly as his coffee cup. You're just overthinking. No need to worry. Atsumu would never cheat on you. I know he loved you very much. Really? Sakuatsu nodded his head. He seemed passive, but he really wanted to shove a fork through Shoyo's throat for wasting his time. Though maybe that was a little extreme. Yeah, just after a lot of comforting I guess we both caught feelings for each other. Well, to put it simply at least. Shoyo smiled, letting out a deep breath that he had probably been holding in for a long while. Thank you. That's a relief. You dated Atsumu for a long time. I'm surprised you thought something like that of him. I know. I just couldn't help it. And when I saw you I just needed to get it off my chest. Well, I'm glad we cleared that up. Hinata nodded in agreement, taking a short sip from his cup. Yeah, well, is that it? Oh, you want to go already? I mean, I was in the middle of shopping. That's true. He laughed nervously as Sakuatsu stood up, grabbing his cup from the table. He had no plans of staying any longer. He just didn't see the need to. Though it looked like Shoyo thought differently since he was clearly edging Sakuatsu to stay. How is Tsumu anyways? He feeling good? Didn't you meet up with him this morning? Why are you asking me? I'm just asking you too. You know, in case he's lying or something. Why would he lie? I mean, judging by what you said earlier, you said he needed a lot of comforting. He said he was okay to me this morning. But, is he really? Sakuatsu nodded. The blonde seemed a lot better than he did previously. He didn't spend much time crying over Shoyo recently. He's a lot better. No need to worry about that. That's good. I'm glad. Despite his words, Hinata frowned. Though unlike Atsumu, Sakusa was a lot better at reading the room. He was jealous. He was clearly jealous of his and Atsumu's relationship. He was jealous that Atsumu was able to find happiness with someone other than himself. But he wasn't lying when he said he was glad that Atsumu was okay. Sakusa was just confused. Hinata had broken up with Atsumu. He had no right to be jealous over who he was dating now. He questioned himself as to why he would break up with Atsumu in the first place. Maybe he was telling the truth. Maybe he had lost feelings for Atsumu and now they were all coming back. Though he didn't ask Hinata anything. He just wanted to leave as soon as possible. I'll be going. Wait. He was cut off by Hinata's almost too call. Sakusa instantly squinted. What more could this pest want? He already asked his question. What? Just one more thing, right? Shoyo took a cautious breath. Do you guys want to hang out or something? What? We could go somewhere or something? I've missed you guys and I was just wondering if we could all hang out, like we did before. Sakusa thought for a moment. All he wanted to do right now was get away as soon as he could, but Shoyo was making that difficult for him. He didn't exactly want to go and hang out with him, but on the other hand, he questioned if it would make Atsumu happy. What do you say? Sakusa sighed as he picked his phone up from the table and placed it in his pocket, indicating he was planning on leaving shortly. Fine, but message Achu about it, or don't and just ask him about it tomorrow. Hinata beamed. Will do. Thank you Sakusa-san. It's fine, but I'm gonna get home. What about your groceries? I have an idiot I have to tell off, because I know as a fact he won't have started his essay yet. You mean Tsumu? Who else? He's an idiot. But yeah, bye I guess. Oh right. See you. Good luck with Tsumu. Sakusa hummed and nodded as he walked off, not saying another word to Shoyo. Cursed both him and Atsumu for messing up both of his shopping trips. He could kill a man. He told himself he wasn't going to go shopping again, deciding with himself that he was going to force Atsumu to do it instead. Achu? Sakusa called as he toed his shoes off. He turned behind himself to lock and close the door. It wasn't long before he heard a muffled shout that he heard coming from his bedroom. Sakusa scoffed as he walked towards his bedroom. Did Atsumu really have the nerve to go into his bedroom without permission? The answer was yes, which he found out as he opened his bedroom door, revealing a certain idiotic blonde laid on his stomach on his bed, his laptop in front of him. The blonde looked at him. His eyes widened before he scowled, though his cheeks were slightly pink. Probably from embarrassment. What time do ya call this? What are you doing in my room? Answer me first. I messaged you like 20 times and you still didn't reply. I just didn't see your messages, idiot. Now you answer me. Why are you in my room? What? Do ya have me on mute or something? I swear if I find out that you do I will kill ya. I was worried you know. I don't have you on mute. I just always have my phone on do not disturb. You're a psychopath. Sakusa scoffed as he walked further into the room, taking a seat on the edge of his bed beside Atsumu when he was able to. He saw Atsumu's screen. He had Word open, though the document was blank, but he decided to repeat his first question before the next one that he now had. Why are you in my room? Cause I felt like it, okay. Atsumu looked away from Sakusa, his cheeks forming a more vibrant shade. The true answer was that he missed him, but who was he to tell Sakusa that? Now you answer me. Where have you been? I was worried. You didn't need to worry. Well, you don't need to worry about me either, but you still do it, don't you? Shut up. We don't talk about that. Atsumu smirked until he realized his question was still unanswered, so he instantly shouted at Sakusa once again. Just tell me where you have been, dumbass. I was going to tell you eventually. Jeez. Seems like you're the dumbass here. No you are, cause you're not telling me shit. I will. Just wait and shut up so that I can actually say something. Fine. Sakusa hummed as he raised his legs onto the bed where he sat crossed-legged, taking note of Atsumu closing his laptop lid to give him his full attention. I saw Hinata. What do ya mean you saw him? What happened? I was just about to explain that. Calm down will you? Sakusa rolled his eyes as the blonde instantly went silent. So I saw him. You said that already. Shut up would you? This time Atsumu rolled his eyes. Yeah, like a hot, angry grandpa. Did you just call grandpas hot? No, I called you hot. Sakuatsu raised an eyebrow though he felt his heart skip a beat in his chest. That's weird. Yeah, weird. Just shut up. Do you want me to explain this to you or not? Atsumu finally fell silent, scoffing as he indicated for Sakuatsu to begin talking again. Is that a yes? Of course it's a yes. Hurry up would ya? Yeah, keeping me on edge here. Whose fault is that? Just shut it and tell me what happened. Sakuatsu sighed, finally being able to tell Atsumu about his wild outing and how he met up with Hinata. Well, basically, he came up to me in the grocery store, and his weird ass asked me to go get coffee. Coffee? Didn't I go with him to get coffee earlier? That's what I. Also don't call him weird. Shoyo is not weird. Yeah, weird. Sakuatsu rolled his eyes. He had almost forgotten that the blonde was madly in love with that weird carrot top. Whatever. But either way, we went to get coffee. And he asked me some questions. Well, more like one question because I made it pretty obvious I didn't wanna be there. Well, what did he ask then? He asked if you were cheating on him. What? Atsumu's eyes widened as he was genuinely shocked. His mind flooded with negative thoughts. Did Hinata really think that lowly of him? Or did he break up with him since he thought he was cheating? Luckily, Sakuatsu was there to clear his pacing thoughts. He said that his suspicion wasn't the cause of your breakup. Don't worry. It was written all over your face. You were worried about that. But he made it clear that it wasn't the reason. Atsumu took a deep breath. Thank God Sakuatsu was there to clear his mind. I'm glad. He just said he was a little worried about it. More so since after you guys went out this morning. He thought me and you might have been dating before you and him broke up. But don't worry. I told him the truth. Everything's cleared up now. Atsumu sighed and sent a smile Sakuatsu's way. Sakuatsu really was a good friend and he was definitely grateful for having him. Thank you Omi. Did anything else happen? Sakuatsu thought for a moment, his eyes scanning the walls as his mind traced back to the previous events of that day. He eventually nodded, looking back into Atsumu's eyes. Not much though. Still, what happened? It's nothing to worry about. He just asked if us three could all go out somewhere or something. Like how we used to or whatever he said. I'd like that. Atsumu muttered, his gaze giving in as he looked down to his outstretched legs which he nervously scratched at as his cheeks glowed a light pink. I know. I already agreed. You're welcome. Really? Yeah. I asked him to send you the details though. I can't be bothered with shit like that. Shoyo was saying something about going off campus somewhere. Doing that should be fun. I guess. Omi, we should go ice skating. What? Why? I haven't been since I was little. It would be fun. Plus it's meant to be romantic. Or something. Romantic? I'd rather not. Go with Shoyo instead. But I asked ya. You said it was romantic. Go with Hinata. You guys can make out on the ice for all I care. Won't you be jealous? Never. Atsumu scoffed. Whatever. I'll plan with Shoyo to go out or something. Later. You have an essay to write. You do too. I know. I was going to start it once I got home. But there's an idiot in my room. We can write together. Sakuatsu shuffled off of the bed. He stood up and walked to his desk, picking up his laptop and a notebook before walking back to his bed. He climbed up onto it laying stomach first just like Atsumu. The two now side by side. Right. Because professor won't notice if we have the exact same essay. I didn't mean it like that. Just, we write together. And you help me if I need any. What? So you basically just mean to write in the same room? Precisely. You made it sound much more difficult than you had to. Whatever. Just, can we? I haven't kicked you out for a reason you know. So can I stay here? Sakuatsu hummed as he nodded, powering his laptop on. Yeah, it will let me keep an eye on you. You won't do your assignment otherwise. I'm not a baby. I don't believe it. I'm not one. You're my baby. Sakuatsu cringed as the words fell from his mouth. He didn't even understand what had made him even consider saying that, though he did enjoy the reaction he got from Atsumu. The blonde's cheeks instantly bolded into a rouge shade as he fumbled over his words. What? Nothing. Just get on with your essay, idiot. But, shut up. Atsumu heard a soothing voice call from behind him. He smiled as he turned around to face the familiar voice. He practically beamed when he was greeted by the face of Sakuatsu. Omi, here. He was in the kitchen, His back leaned against one of the countertops. His phone was in his hand, which he had previously been scrolling through. And now he was joined by Sakuatsu. To Atsumu's surprise, Sakuatsu didn't walk to the fridge to grab something from it. Instead, he walked straight up to Atsumu, his arms lacing around the blonde's waist as he pulled him into a hug, smiling as he rested his head on Atsumu's shoulder and hummed softly, "Omi." Atsumu flushed a deep red, but his arms too trailed around Kyumi, though luckily Sakuatsu wasn't able to see the bulging coloring of his cheeks due to his head being hung onto Atsumu's shoulder, his head nuzzling into Atsumu's neck. "Morning. Why ya okay? I'm just a little tired still. Need a coffee to wake myself up. Okay. You want me to make ya one, or?" Sakuatsu hummed as he pulled back from Atsumu slightly, resting their foreheads together as his eyes closed, his body embracing every little warmth coming from Atsumu. Just give me a moment." He didn't move for a couple moments, both of their arms still tangled around one another as Atsumu continued to try and work out what was even happening. His eyes squirmed from side to side as he tried to shake his vision away from Sakuatsu's tired and grumpy yet adorable features. Though he moved eventually, his hand tracing up Atsumu's side all the way up to his face as he cupped his chin, smiling to himself before he peppered kisses all over the blonde's face. Atsumu was most definitely not sure how to react, but he didn't want to pull away. Instead, he accepted the adorable affection he was being fed despite his tomato red face. "Actually, I'll make my own. You can't be trusted with a kettle." "What? Of course I can. Just go sit down. I wanna admire you, Omi. Don't question it. Just accept it." "But, Omi." This time he kissed the blonde on the lips, instantly shutting him up as he pulled back further from Atsumu and walked towards their sink where he began filling up their kettle. Atsumu was still in shock, though his clouded mind just told him to just follow whatever Sakuatsu had told him to do. He sat down on a stool just behind their kitchen island and hummed to himself whilst looking in every direction away from Sakuatsu, though Sakuatsu wasn't doing the same. "You sleep okay?" Atsumu nodded. He didn't even remember waking up, but he was too flustered to even think about indicating something else. "You're either out of bed way too early or in bed until like 4 p.m. You really need to sort out your sleep schedule." Says ya. You go to bed at like 4 a.m. every night. "Not every night, just most nights. Still, I only stay up that late if I have an assignment due the next day, or if I have classes later in the day. It's not like I have anything to wake up for. Still. Other than you, of course, but half the time you're still in bed anyways. I love seeing your face when I wake up. Omi, you're gorgeous." Sakuatsu smiled softly and Atsumu's face somehow managed to heat up further. Sakuatsu turned the kettle on, staring in Atsumu's direction a little longer before he walked towards him, leaning forward on the countertop so that their faces were barely inches apart. "So redden for what? Omi, you're so adorable like this. I love you so much." Their noses brushed against one another, Atsumu's eyes wide and Sakuatsu's almost squinting. "I love you too." Atsumu took in a deep gulp, trying to process the words that both he and Sakuatsu had said as Kyumi leaned in to press yet another kiss to the blonde's lips. Then his eyes opened, revealing the not-so-empty space next to him. His cheeks imitated the same shade as in his dream as Sakuatsu's face was laid closely to his own. They must have fallen asleep while writing. "Omi," he whispered under his breath, his arm slowly reaching up to cup the side of Kyumi's face. He smiled as he admired his every feature, his body subconsciously moving closer to him until their bodies were barely apart. Atsumu smiled once again as he shut his eyes, allowing himself to sleep for a little longer. He didn't have anything to wake up for anyways. Achu. He heard Kyumi's muffled voice call for him from behind his bedroom door. "Omi, here. Are you almost ready? We need to leave soon." Atsumu hummed as he threw a t-shirt over his head and then a hoodie. He quickly grabbed his belongings, such as his backpack that he had already packed and his phone, and swiftly trotted out of the room. He smiled and gave Sakuatsu a small wave as he walked over to him beside the door. "You ready? What took you so long, idiot? I have to look perfect, Omi." "What do ya mean what took so long? You look no different to usual." "What? No, I'm more beautiful now. The prettiest. You didn't even spend too long getting ready. I could hear you singing in the shower." "What?" Atsumu's cheeks glowed a low pink out of embarrassment. He was having a mini concert in the shower earlier, but he wasn't aware that Sakuatsu could hear him. Yeah, your singing is awful. Not that bad. Sakuatsu chuckled, bending down to grab Atsumu's shoes from the floor which he passed to the blonde. Yeah, it wasn't the worst. My ears weren't bleeding right. Omi. What? Atsumu scoffed as he took the shoes from Sakuatsu's hands which he quickly slid onto his feet one by one, letting out a loud huff once the pair was on his feet. Take it as a compliment. That was clearly an insult. Same difference. HAA. He was cut off by Sakuatsu grabbing his hand. His whole face bursted into a light pink shade as Sakuatsu's other hand grabbed the door handle. He pushed the door open, pulling himself and Atsumu out of it. Let's go to class. We're gonna be late. Okay. Sakuatsu felt his heart beat louder in his chest, and in reaction he pulled his mask up from below his chin to cover his face. He didn't want to risk Atsumu seeing any reaction that came to his face, though Atsumu didn't exactly have anything to hide his own face with, so the blonde's reaction only enhanced his own. Sakuatsu stopped walking just as they were about to enter the class, which of course stopped the blonde from walking too. They were both just standing in the doorway. Atsumu raised an eyebrow as he turned around to face Kyumi. Sakuatsu only walked closer to him, an arm reaching to loop around the blonde's waist as he pulled him closer to him. He smiled to himself as he saw blood rise to the blonde's cheeks. Why yeah, okay. Sakuatsu nodded and pulled his mask down to below his chin. He rested his forehead against the blonde's for a moment before he connected their lips together for a short and well-awaited kiss. He then walked away, leaving the blonde to figure out what had just happened on his own. He smirked to himself as his head directed to the floor. He could feel a certain pair of eyes on him the whole time. 2 jealous eyes, and they pissed him off. So what better way to solve that issue by making him even more jealous, plus it made him able to have the chance to kiss the blonde. Atsumu's reaction only made his heart flutter. By the time Atsumu had even walked in the room, Sakuatsu was already sitting down, and he found how flustered Atsumu was adorable yet extremely amusing as he walked almost robotically to his seat. He saw Shoyo's eyes immediately latch onto the blonde. His blonde. And somehow it pissed him off. Both he and Atsumu had found their goal. They had made Hinata jealous, but somehow he didn't feel like he had accomplished anything. Atsumu? Hinata muttered lowly as both he and Atsumu stood up. The blonde smiled as he turned to him. Yeah, I was wondering, do you maybe wanna go out or something? I think Sakuatsu spoke to you about something yesterday, and I was just wondering if you both wanna hang out or something. Atsumu hummed. Oh, right. Omi did say that you both got coffee or something, and then he said something else about you wanting to hang out. Yes. Achu. Atsumu turned around to the voice walking towards him. The blonde gave him a small wave and a "Here Omi" before Kyumi pulled him into a hug and dug his head into his shoulder. Oh Omi, that was draining. She spoke too much. Atsumu smiled softly, running his fingers through the black locks on the back of Kyumi's head. Good thing it's over then. Just need to recharge. Sakuatsu closed his eyes as he melted into the embrace, pulling away once he felt he had enough energy. I'm good now. Let's go. He quickly kissed Atsumu on the forehead and was about to go grab his hand before the voice behind the blonde spoke again. Atsumu. Right. Omi-kun. Shoyo wants to hang out. Hang out? You guys are hanging out. A familiar voice bumped into their conversation. Maybe. Do you mind if I join then? End of part 6. Hi besties. I hope you enjoyed the video. Get prepared for the next part because like drama. Also it should be out sooner. I don't have exams anymore and I'm actually really excited to write the next part since I have it all planned out and it's just yes. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye besties. Love you all.